one of the provinces that are seeing a rise in infection, this established resurgence, Premier Alan Winde has today urged people in the province to change their behavior to help slow down any further spread of the coronavirus. The province has more than 10,000 cases of COVID-19. We're now joined by the Premier, Alan Winde. Premier, thank you so much for your time on eNCA this evening. You are in quite a difficult position. You are preparing to welcome holiday makers. There are businesses that were preparing to maybe, get some kickstart after having suffered for a couple of months during the hard lockdowns. So you have to, one, look at the interests of the economy, but also look at how you can save lives. What are you expecting from the President this evening?
So obviously I was involved in the consultation. Obviously I'm not privy to what he's exactly going to say. I specifically asked that we have more consequences to people not adhering to the lockdown level 1 rules and regulations. That's about congestion, where we see people gathering in places without masks and not following the rules, and with any kind of congestion space. And that's why I'm really asking for people to let's get behavior change right. We want to have a great summer season, but it's going to be a different summer season. We want to welcome you to our province, and specifically those hotspot areas in our province. We want you to come and enjoy your summer holidays, but it's going to be a different holiday. We want you to be part of the solution and not part of the problem. So you need to understand that there are rules, and we will work and put our part of the bargain on the table. We've got a great hospital system, but we've got to protect it. And we will also use our law enforcement wherever necessary to make sure that we don't have mass gatherings, and we're going to ask you to really play your part so that we can flatten this curve and have a great season. So
law enforcement also played a part in the previous hard lockdowns. When you talk about maybe proper consequences for those that are violating the regulations, what would those consequences be that would maybe act as a deterrent on the part of people when they think about breaking the regulations?
Well, at the moment, there are only a few consequences. For example, if an establishment breaks the rules, we could remove a liquor license, for example. But what are the consequences of citizens not adhering to the rules, congesting, especially in closed environments? And so I would also like to see that perhaps in those closed environments that we have consequences where people are not following the rules. We are saying, please, when you're coming to our region, especially the hotspot areas, any kind of gathering, and I see that Professor Karim was also backing that up. This is going to be a summer season with a difference. You're not going to have those big New Year parties. And now at the end of the year, we're asking, don't have those end of year office parties. Let's make sure that we keep it the numbers way down. Restaurants, we want you to keep your maybe spill out onto the pavement, so we keep open spaces. We need to use our outdoors far more. We don't want people congesting in closed environments, because we know that that's where, if someone is infected, we are going to spread the virus.
So you're talking about compliance, which is the buy-in of the public, and consequences for those who don't, which sounds ideal. The reality is, we haven't been able to monitor everyone, and a lot of people have been breaking the rules. What are you going to do when the holiday makers roll in to the garden route, into Cape Town, and they just want to relax? Are people going to be monitored? Are there going to be army troops on the streets? I mean, how are you actually, what is the plan for when the holiday season kicks off?
So we've already started. You would have seen in a number of parts of the hotspot regions, and as well as the city, local law enforcement are already out. If bars or pubs are not adhering, they are being given fines by the liquor inspectors and by local law enforcement. And even if necessary, we'll remove your liquor license. And of course, that doesn't make good business sense to me. We also see that many citizens are saying, please, we don't want further lockdowns. And I agree. Lockdown costs us jobs in the economy. If citizens need freedom, freedom comes with responsibility, and we need people to join us. That's why we are really saying, we will play our part. This is a deal, and the part is that everyone else has got to make sure that we understand that there's a difference. We're asking our neighborhood watchers, our beach lifeguards, everyone is going to be pulling together from a government point of view to be out there to make sure that people are helping us flatten this curve.
I'm glad you mentioned the beaches. I asked the KwaZulu-Natal Premier this, and he said that they would sort of rely on people transporting those to the beach to just make sure that they were screened. It didn't sound like it was a good plan. We know that the beaches, while they are outdoors, which is good, and we know that sunshine kills the virus quite quickly, but we also know that people are cheek by jowl on the beaches in the holiday season. Are you worried about the beaches?
Yes, we are. Our previous week's Digicon that we do once a week, we asked our disaster management team to have a look at what are those plans for the summer season. And the one issue was, and I still remember them putting up a photograph of Muizenberg Beach on New Year's Day, and you could see very congested. So we don't have a final solution. We've asked our local governments to come up with a plan, and I think it is about how we get those car guards in bibs, the neighborhood watchers, the joint operations of law enforcement to say, okay, what are we going to do on the day? It is about going to be, and messaging is going to have to be very, very strong.
Premier, how are you going to be dealing with the issue of interprovincial travel, particularly just the Eastern Cape and the Western Cape? There are people that will be moving from the Eastern Cape into the Western Cape. Some will be moving from the Western Cape into the Eastern Cape, and some may be carriers of this virus. What plan do you have to also focus on that interprovincial travel to ensure that it doesn't really just exacerbate the problem?
So what we've done is, and I'm not sure exactly how these are going to correlate, but what we have done is we've deployed the rapid testing to the garden route. So they're already set up and running. So that's the sort of 1 hour later you'll have a test result. We have launched with our traffic officials our summer season campaign, and so we will have a range of roadblocks. We want to call them friendly roadblocks at the moment, and that is a communication tool. So people that are moving, we will be talking to them. We will be saying to people, if you have any kind of screening that shows that you either have a temperature or you feel sick at all, please, we need you to take that test. Those rapid tests will be available. And then, of course, then you need to know that you need to quarantine yourself to protect others.
Yeah, Premier Alan Winde, Premier of the Western Cape. We really appreciate your time on eNCA this evening. He's sounding a lot more optimistic. He was in the Presidential Coordinating Council meeting on Wednesday, so maybe there will be, the news won't be that bad.
Yeah, and we know that the DA has been consistently against any tough lockdown measures. And he was clearly consulted. He told us he was consulted. He didn't say, I'm really worried. He didn't,
no.
But what worried, they still don't really know what to do about the beaches.
Yeah, so they still don't know what to do.
There are going to be crowds of people. You can't stop people going to the beach.
Yeah, and you're going to come tell me...
My umbrella is here, your umbrella is over there. Thank you very much. Move your umbrella away from mine. I can see the fights on Clifton.
Tell me, keep your mask on while I'm trying to enjoy the beaches. But yeah, we all have to do our part. These are unprecedented times. Like he said, it's going to be a different Christmas, a different holiday.
Yeah.
But still to come...